Our next guest, when he's not writing legal documents, he is putting ink into thriller stories, and we would like to welcome Connecticut resident and lawyer and author Jeffrey Stevens. Welcome here to CT Style. Brand new book, Rogue Mission. Nice to have you on the show. Absolutely. So this is cool, and we're going to chit-chat all about the book. But first, you've been a lawyer for quite some time. You've lived in Connecticut for nearly 30 years.
More.
35?
Yeah. 35.
And so you've already written 3 of these specifically. How did you transition from being a lawyer to being a writer?
Well, I always wrote, Ryan, and unfortunately, writing, there's not a lot of money in it most of the time. So way back when, my dad insisted that I get a job. So I went to law school at Fordham in New York, became a lawyer, continued to write, and about 15 years ago, I met somebody who happened to be a literary agent. It was quite by accident, and he said, "Let me read your stuff," and I gave it to him, and the rest is history, as they say. I've had some other books out. Now this is the 4th in the Jordan Sandor series.
Now, having a full-time job, when is the best time for you to write?
I generally write in the morning, real early.
How early are we talking here?
Before the crows, before the rooster crows, as they say. I get up early and I do it because this way it's in uninterrupted time. I don't have phones ringing, I don't have emails popping, right, and so forth. So that works pretty well for me.
I can hardly find the lever to turn the shower on, let alone write books at 4 in the morning. So hey, kudos to you. So let's talk all about the book, Rogue Mission. This is kind of cool because Jordan Sandor, he is a CIA agent, but in this specific book, he is faced with an injury from ISIS.
Correct. Yeah, Sandor has had 3 prior adventures, as you've mentioned. This one is a little different because the title of the book tells something of it, which is it's a rogue mission. He's injured at the very beginning of the book. That's not a spoiler alert necessary. And when his superiors tell him to stay away from investigating the terrorist attack, he refuses because he's that kind of guy. He's rebellious, he's about getting the job done, and so he goes on an unsanctioned mission to find out what happened, why it happened, and then it gets more and more complicated as he trots around the globe trying to solve problems.
It sounds a bit like a contemporary James Bond take.
That's what I'm hoping for. I mean, he's, you know, nowadays readers are much more sophisticated. I mean, I love Ian Fleming, but it was 50, 60 years ago, and, you know, James Bond in a tuxedo swilling martinis does not save the world, really.
Right.
This is grittier, this is much more authentic. He's based on a real CIA agent that I happen to know years back.
That you know?
Yeah.
Wow. So what is that like, having a friend like that? How much information can you pull from him, being an agent yourself and a writer?
Yeah, not without getting in trouble. I can't pull too much.
Right.
But he was a friend of mine, and I found that quite by accident. It was actually a funny story where I found out that he worked for the government, and more became aware that he was working for the company. He was a corporate guy, but he would go around the world and run certain things, and so he told me what he could, and I became fascinated, and so I wrote the first book, never expecting it to be a series. I thought it was more of a one-off. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun, and it sold pretty well, and then the publisher said, well, why don't you write another one, and now this is number 4.
Number 4, so it's been quite the success. You guys can check it out on Amazon.com. Again, it is called Rogue Mission. Jeffrey, we want to thank you for joining us today on CT Style.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, always nice to have Connecticut writers here on the show. Sounds pretty intriguing.
Good for Father's Day, too, by the way, everybody, just so you know.
Excellent plug there. I dig it. Hey, Jeff, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
On the show. Again, make sure you check out the book. It is called Rogue Mission, and now we're going to send things over